August 12, 2014, the Gorilla Foundation, California. Dr. Penny Patterson stood in front of Koko the gorilla with a photograph. Koko was 43 years old, 300 pounds, and fluent in over 1,000 signs. She'd met presidents, celebrities, scientists. But this photograph was different. It was Robin Williams. Patterson signed slowly. "Robin visits you, remember?" Koko nodded, touched the photo gently. Then Patterson signed the hardest message she'd ever delivered. "Robin gone. Robin sleep forever." For 10 seconds, Koko sat completely still. Then her massive hands moved. 3 signs, slow and deliberate. Cry. Sad. Love. Scientists watching on monitors went silent. A 300-pound gorilla was mourning a comedian she'd met once 13 years ago for 90 minutes. But what Koko signed next, a message she repeated for 3 days straight, revealed something about Robin Williams that even his family didn't fully understand. And it would challenge everything science believed about animal consciousness, grief, and the invisible connections that transcend species. But to understand what happened on August 12, 2014, you have to go back 13 years. To a day in 2001 when Robin Williams walked into an encounter that would become one of the most profound experiences of his life. June 2001, Woodside, California, the Gorilla Foundation. Robin Williams was 49 years old and in the middle of what he'd later call his dark period. He'd been sober since 1982, 19 years clean from cocaine and alcohol, but sobriety didn't cure depression, it just made him feel it more clearly. He was between marriages, between projects, between versions of himself. The manic energy that made him famous felt exhausting. The performances felt hollow. He needed something real, something that didn't require him to be Robin Williams comedian. Just Robin. Dr. Penny Patterson, the world's leading expert on gorilla communication and Koko's primary caretaker for over 30 years, had invited Robin to meet Koko. She'd been studying Koko since 1972, teaching her American Sign Language, documenting her ability to communicate, to express emotions, to create new word combinations. Koko knew over 1,000 signs and could understand about 2,000 words of spoken English. She'd met celebrities before, Mr. Rogers, Leonardo DiCaprio, William Shatner. But Patterson had a feeling about Robin Williams, something about his energy, his expressiveness, his childlike wonder. She thought Koko would connect with him. Robin arrived at the sanctuary nervous. He'd been briefed on the protocols. Don't stare directly into her eyes. It's threatening. Don't make sudden movements. Let her set the pace. Koko was 300 pounds of pure muscle, strong enough to bend steel bars. She was gentle, but she was also a wild animal, unpredictable. Patterson led Robin to Koko's habitat, a spacious enclosure with climbing structures, trees, and toys scattered everywhere. Koko was sitting in the corner, playing with a stuffed animal. "Koko," Patterson signed and spoke simultaneously. "Friend here, name Robin, funny man." Koko looked up. Her dark, intelligent eyes locked onto Robin. And then something happened that stunned everyone in the room. Koko stood up, all 300 pounds of her, walked directly to Robin Williams, reached out with her massive hand, and gently removed his glasses. Just plucked them right off his face. The handlers tensed. This wasn't normal protocol. Robin stood perfectly still, not sure what to do. And then Koko did something that made everyone's jaw drop. She put the glasses on herself, carefully positioned them on her face, looked at Robin through the lenses, and tilted her head like she was examining him. Then she signed, slowly and deliberately, "You." "Funny man." Robin burst out laughing, not his performance laugh, his real laugh, the kind that comes from deep in your chest when something genuinely delights you. Koko, still wearing his glasses, started signing rapidly to Patterson. "Want play, want tickle, funny man tickle Koko." Patterson translated, smiling. "She wants you to tickle her. That's actually a huge sign of trust. She doesn't ask that of strangers." Robin looked at this massive gorilla wearing his glasses, asking to be tickled, and something in him just melted. All the depression, all the exhaustion, all the masks he wore for the world, they just fell away. He knelt down, reached out carefully, and tickled Koko's side. She threw her head back in what can only be described as gorilla laughter, a breathy, panting sound, and signed, "More, More. For the next 90 minutes, Robin Williams and Koko played. Really played. Like children, no cameras allowed. Patterson had made that rule early on. This was about connection, not documentation. Robin would chase Koko around the enclosure. Koko would hide behind structures and peek out, signing, "Find me!" Robin would pretend he couldn't see her, looking everywhere else, and Koko would shake with silent laughter. At one point, Koko picked up a small doll and cradled it like a baby. She rocked it gently, then looked at Robin and signed, "Baby. Koko, baby." Robin's eyes filled with tears. Patterson whispered, "She's never had a baby. It's one of her deepest sadnesses. She's sharing that with you." Robin sat down on the floor of the enclosure, cross-legged, and Koko came over and sat next to him. Not facing him, threatening. Next to him, shoulder to shoulder, like friends watching a sunset. And they just sat there, in complete silence. No words, no signs. Just two beings, existing together. Robin later said that moment, sitting in silence with a gorilla, was the most peaceful he'd felt in years. Koko reached over and touched Robin's chest, right over his heart. She kept her hand there for a long moment, feeling his heartbeat. Then she pulled her hand back and signed something to Patterson. Patterson's face changed. She looked shocked, then moved. "What?" Robin asked. "What did she say?" Patterson hesitated. She signed, "Soft, heart, sad." She looked at Robin. "I've only seen her use that combination once before with a caretaker who just lost her mother. I think she can sense that you're sad, that you're hurting." Robin stared at Koko. This gorilla, who he'd just met 90 minutes ago, had seen through every defense, every joke, every performance. She'd looked into him and seen what he worked so hard to hide from everyone else. The sadness, the emptiness, the constant effort to be okay. He didn't say anything. He just nodded, and Koko signed, "Koko, love Robin." When Robin finally left the sanctuary that day, he was different, quieter, more centered. Patterson walked him to his car, and he turned to her, tears in his eyes. "Thank you. That was the purest interaction I've ever had. She didn't want me to be funny. She didn't want a performance. She just wanted to be with me, the real me. I didn't know how much I needed that." In interviews over the next few years, Robin talked about Koko more than almost any other experience. He told David Letterman, "I met this gorilla who could sign, and she told me I had a sad heart. She saw me. Not Robin Williams the comedian, just me. And she loved me anyway." He told James Lipton on Inside the Actor Studio, "Koko taught me that connection doesn't need words. Sometimes the deepest communication happens in silence, just being present with another soul." But what nobody knew, what Robin never talked about publicly, was that after meeting Koko, he started volunteering at animal sanctuaries, quietly, anonymously. He'd spend hours just sitting with rescued animals, abused dogs, traumatized horses. He'd just be with them. No agenda, no performance, just presence. Because Koko had taught him that sometimes being seen and accepted for who you really are is the greatest gift you can give or receive. 13 years passed. Robin's life continued. More movies, more struggles with depression, a new marriage to Susan Schneider, and then in 2014, the onset of Lewy body dementia. His brain was being destroyed. Hallucinations, paranoia, memory loss. The fastest mind in comedy was misfiring, failing, falling apart. By August 2014, Robin was in agony. The disease was unbearable. On August 11th, 2014, Robin Williams took his own life. The news broke on August 12th. The world went into mourning. Tributes poured in from everywhere, presidents, actors, comedians, millions of fans. And at the Gorilla Foundation in California, Dr. Penny Patterson sat in her office crying, trying to figure out how to tell Koko. You see, Koko understood death. She'd mourned before. When her kitten All Ball was killed by a car in 1984, Koko had signed sad and frown for weeks. She understood that sleep forever meant someone wasn't coming back. But Patterson had never had to tell Koko that a human friend had died, especially not Robin. Robin had been special. Patterson gathered. Her team pulled up the video monitors and entered Koko's habitat with a photograph of Robin Williams. Koko was sitting by the window looking outside. She turned when Patterson entered and immediately noticed the photo. Patterson signed, "Robin visit you, remember?" Koko's face changed. Her eyes widened. She nodded eagerly and signed, "Robin funny, Robin tickle. Koko love Robin." She reached for the photo, touched it gently with one massive finger. Patterson took a deep breath and signed the hardest message she'd ever delivered. "Robin gone. Robin sleep forever." For 10 seconds, an eternity in gorilla interaction, Koko sat completely still. She stared at Patterson's hands like she was trying to understand if she'd signed correctly. Then she looked at the photo, then back at Patterson. And then her massive hands moved. 3 signs, slow and deliberate. Cry. Sad. Love. The scientists watching on the monitors in the observation room went completely silent. One researcher put her hand over her mouth. Another started crying, because what they were witnessing was grief. Unmistakable, profound grief. A 300-pound gorilla was mourning a comedian she'd met once for 90 minutes 13 years ago. But then Koko signed something else, something that made Patterson's breath catch. She signed, "Soft Heart, Robin Soft Heart, gone." Koko remembered. After 13 years, she remembered touching Robin's chest and sensing his sadness. She remembered seeing into him. And now, she was mourning not just Robin Williams, the celebrity, but Robin, the person. The man with the soft, sad heart. For the next 3 days, Koko was withdrawn. She sat by the window, barely eating, barely engaging with her caretakers. And every few hours, she would sign the same thing. Soft heart, gone. Koko sad. Patterson documented everything. She wrote to the Foundation's supporters. Koko's reaction to Robin's passing was profound. She became very quiet and somber. She kept signing sad and frown and referenced his soft heart repeatedly. It's clear she not only remembers him but understands the permanence of his absence. The scientific community was stunned. Research papers were written. Consciousness studies were updated. Because what Koko demonstrated wasn't just memory or pattern recognition, it was genuine grief. It was the understanding of death's finality. It was empathy across species. Koko had connected with Robin on a level that transcended language, transcended species, transcended everything scientists thought they understood about the boundaries of animal consciousness. But here's the part that broke everyone's heart. Here's what Koko's mourning revealed about Robin Williams that even his family hadn't fully understood. When Koko signed Soft Heart, she wasn't just remembering a random observation from 2001. She was describing the essence of who Robin was. Behind all the comedy, all the manic energy, all the performances, there was a soft, gentle, deeply sensitive soul. A man who felt everything so intensely that he had to make people laugh just to balance out the pain he felt constantly. Koko had seen that in 90 minutes. She'd touched his chest and felt it, and she'd loved him for it. Not despite his sadness, but including it. She'd accepted all of him, the funny man and the sad heart, without asking him to be anything other than what he was. After Koko's mourning went public, Robin's wife Susan released a statement. Robin loved Koko. He talked about her often, especially in his final years. He said she was one of the few beings who ever really saw him. I think Koko understood my husband better than most humans did. Her grief honors him in a way that means everything to our family. Koko lived 4 more years after Robin's death. She passed away in her sleep on June 19, 2018, at age 46. In her final years, whenever Patterson would show her photos and ask her to identify people, Koko would always pause on Robin's photo. She'd touch it gently and sign, "Friend, Soft Heart." She never forgot him. Today, the footage of Robin and Koko's 2001 meeting is archived at the Gorilla Foundation. It's used in consciousness studies, in animal behavior research, in discussions about the nature of empathy and connection. But more than that, it's used as a reminder that sometimes the deepest relationships happen without words, that being truly seen, flaws, sadness, and all, is one of the greatest gifts we can receive. And that love, real love, transcends every boundary we think exists. There's a moment in that archived footage that researchers keep coming back to. Robin is sitting next to Koko and she's grooming his hair, a sign of deep affection in gorilla culture. Robin's eyes are closed and he's smiling, not his camera smile, his real smile, peaceful, content. And Koko signs to Patterson, who's watching. Good friend, Koko keep. She did keep him, in her memory, in her heart, for 13 years and beyond. A 300-pound gorilla and a tormented genius found connection in 90 minutes of wordless play. And when he died, she mourned him with a depth that challenged everything science thought it knew about where human ends and animal begins. If this story about connection, about being truly seen, about love that transcends species and survives death moved you, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Share this with someone who needs to hear that being vulnerable, being your real self, is what creates the deepest bonds. Have you ever been seen by someone or something in a way that changed you? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to ring that notification bell for more incredible true stories about the connections that define us and the love that survives everything.